Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're taking a pretty wild journey from the visible traits we see in the mirror every single day, all the way down to the microscopic text of life itself. We're going to explore the incredible science of variations, hereditary, and cell division. Basically, we're peeling back the layers to understand exactly what makes you, well, you.
Let's kick things off with the deceptively simple question. Why do all individuals of the exact same species look completely different? Seriously. Think about your own family traits, or just picture a crowded room. Even though we're all Homo sapiens, no two humans are perfectly alike. I mean, even identical twins develop subtle differences over time. So why is there such profound variation within a single species? What is actually happening beneath the surface to create all this endless diversity?
Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The spice of life. 2. Built for survival. 3. The blueprint of you. 4. Letters, words, and books. And 5. The Great Divide.
All right, Section 1. The spice of life, understanding variations.
Let's break these variations down into two main buckets to see how they actually work. On one side, we've got discontinuous variation. This is determined completely, 100% by your genetics. Think of it like a biological toggle switch. You either have a specific blood type, like O negative, or you don't. It's fixed, unchangeable. Now, on the other side, we have continuous variation. You can think of this one more like a sliding scale that's influenced by a mix of your genetics and your environment. Athletic ability is a perfect example of this. Your genes might give you the potential to be a really fast runner, but your childhood nutrition, your training, and where you live are going to dictate your actual resting heart rate and final athletic ability. Simply put, genetics draft the blueprint, but the environment actually builds the house.
Moving right along to Section 2. Built for survival, the power of adaptations.
So, how do these subtle variations actually translate into surviving out in the wild? Well, through adaptations. Adaptations are specific characteristics that help organisms thrive in some drastically different and often completely hostile environments. Think about a fish. Its gills aren't just some random, quirky variation. They're an absolute necessity, evolved over millennia to pull oxygen straight out of the water. Or look at a cactus compared to a standard leafy houseplant. Its thick, water-storing stem and sharp spines set it apart, letting it hoard scarce water and fight off thirsty predators in a brutal desert. When resources are low and the environment pushes a species to the absolute brink, these structural tweaks become the ultimate survival toolkit.
And that brings us to a really crucial realization. Differences among individuals are natural and they're absolutely essential for survival. All this vast diversity we see across the globe, it's not just a collection of fun biological accidents, it is nature's ultimate insurance policy. Think about it. If every organism in a population was completely identical, a single disease or a slight shift in temperature could literally wipe out the entire species overnight. Variation is what guarantees the future.
Okay, zooming in a bit further for Section 3, the blueprint of you, genetics and heredity.
If you have ever wondered why you've got your grandfather's nose, your mom's eyes, or maybe even a weird family quirk like a specific laugh, the answer is heredity. Heredity is the remarkable transfer of genetic information directly from parents to offspring. It is this hidden, microscopic blueprint that hands down not just how you look, but how your body physically operates on a day-to-day basis. It's the invisible thread that connects all the generations.
Now, traits don't just randomly mix together like a couple of paint colors. They follow some pretty strict genetic rules. We all possess these things called alleles, which are really just variations of a specific gene. Some alleles are dominant. Think of them as the loud voices in the room that easily show up in your physical appearance. Others are recessive. These are the quiet voices that stay totally hidden unless they're paired up with another quiet, recessive allele. If you inherit the exact same alleles from both parents, you are homozygous for that trait. But if you get a mixed pair, one dominant, one recessive, you're heterozygous. When that happens, the loud dominant trait wins out on the outside, but you're still secretly carrying that quiet recessive code deep inside, waiting to be passed on to the very next generation.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, letters, words, and books, decoding DNA. To figure out how this code is actually written out, we have to look at what is probably the most famous molecule in all of biology, DNA. DNA has a sturdy backbone made of a sugar called deoxyribose, and it uses just 4 basic chemical building blocks, known as nucleotides. Those are adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. Now prepare yourself for a truly mind-blowing fact. Just the arrangement of those 4 simple chemical bases, stretched across billions of combinations, holds every single genetic secret required to build, maintain, and run you. Just 4 tiny building blocks creating the entire complexity of human life. It's wild.
To make this a bit easier to visualize, just think of it like language. Imagine DNA, those 4 nucleotides we just talked about, as the individual chemical letters of an alphabet. On their own, they're just basic building blocks. But when you string those letters together in a very specific, precise order, they form genes. Genes act as the words, carrying distinct instructions for your body to follow. Finally, these gene words are compiled and bound together into massive, dense chapters called chromosomes. These chromosomes are essentially the complete books safely storing your vast genetic library. It really is a beautifully elegant filing system.
And for our final stop, Section 5, the Great Divide, mitosis versus meiosis.
So how do these genetic books actually get copied and passed around? Well, that happens through 2 completely distinct types of cell division. First, we have mitosis. Think of this as your body's biological photocopier. It handles your everyday cell replication. So when you scrape your knee or grow a little bit taller, mitosis is working overtime, making identical copies of your cells to repair tissue and build you up. But then we have meiosis. This is a highly specialized process used strictly for reproduction. Meiosis doesn't just blindly hit the copy button, it actually cuts the number of chromosomes right in half and intentionally shuffles the genetic deck. And that precise shuffling is exactly why you don't look like a clone of your sibling, and it creates the vital genetic variation we were marveling at the very start of this explainer.
Now, nature's copying process is incredible, but, it isn't 100% flawless. Every now and then, a little chemical typo slips into the genetic text. We call this a mutation, an unexpected change in the code. Sometimes these mutations do absolutely nothing at all, but other times, they introduce a brand new trait into a species. For example, did you know that originally every single early human had brown eyes? The genetic code for blue eyes is actually the direct result of a mutation that happened thousands of years ago. It is just another amazing layer of variation actively driving our evolution.
So, from the microscopic letters in your DNA to the specific genes that give you your unique traits, all the way up to how you physically adapt to your world, you are the end result of a spectacular, ongoing biological story. The next time you spot a unique trait in yourself or even in a stranger, just think about the incredibly complex journey it took to get there. Knowing the billions of perfectly executed chemical processes it took just to create you, are you ready to respect the unbroken, microscopic chain of events that connects you to your ancestors and to all future generations?